see a hard-fought battle into a feeling really good about themselves to then immediately get JDG. It's a painful one.
For JDG, it is a super painful. And I was thinking, we have like a super Western perspective on the draft. We're always like, give us an easy appointment.
Here's my perspective. EU got very, very lucky with the
Could
draw.
have gotten Cloud9, so I don't agree. Any case, let's talk about some of the outstanding players on day one. I want to start with Scout. Unfortunately, Fnatic was on the receiving end, but he had a monster performance, 11-0 at 7, I believe. And you know what? If you've been a long-time viewer of the LPL and Worlds, you are not surprised.
Yeah, I mean, you should be no stranger to Scout. He is a former world champion, and he's come to play. When you look at the entire year, he's had an incredible performance over in the LPL. Scout is the reigning MVP of the LPL. He kind of got scoffed in terms of the All-Pro, falling just short tonight, but everyone regarded him for his incredible talent, and people believed that he was the main reason why LNG was able to get so far in the LPL playoffs.
An absolute monster, and especially on Azir. I think that with all the focus at the beginning of the tournament that has been on the buffs for Orianna and Syndra, I'm talking to so many of these mid laners, they think there is going to be an emergence of the preference for the dash and the mobility and the playmaking of Azir, even with how powerful the other mages have been in the mid lane, and Scout made full use of it. I do want to also shout out Tarzan for the setup, though. You know, getting Scout this undefeated, unkilled record so far here at Worlds. Massive gold difference, massive performance.
You gotta rely on Kobe to always be in the corner of the
Jungler
jungle.
credit.
I love it. That's amazing. Well, speaking of Weiwei versus NRG, we hyped up going into this match for Weibo as well, right? As the expert.
Yeah, so you were talking about the Fnatic being unfortunately on the receiving end of that one. Unfortunately for NA, Energy was the receiving end of this one. And the play-by-play was literally him diving EDG with Poppy multiple times doing the same exact thing in regionals. And then it did it to us, and it was very painful, yes.
What's that about?
We also gave them a little donation. I don't know what's up with the Kalista into a first pick Poppy already. But that's neither here nor there. Weiwei smashed it. He is a monster, and he was such a big pickup for this team. I think that's really one of the underrated things. He is the most recent addition to the roster and has had a...
What I think is incredible is laners in the LPL are very good at finding small advantages, burning a flash and the getting a cleanse. But the way in which the rest of the team takes advantage of those small advantages is incredible. And Weiwei, after they were able to get such a great 2v2 advantage, burning those summoners out of the Kalista, they made life hell for the bottom lane of NRG. So huge credit to him. I'm really excited to see what he can do today, especially as the Shy gets a return against G2 once again.
And speaking of G2, also an MVP to be crowned there in their hard-fought battle versus Blood. Yeah, it was
Soul, let's go!
Can we get a
real massive performance from the Ocean
Oh, no,
Soul? No, we're
it's
not.
Mickey. Okay, it's actually Mickey. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, of course, while the Ocean Soul was incredibly valuable against the Poe composition, Mickey, he was a standout once again. He is touted the MVP of the year.
Not touted, crowned.
Yeah, he's crowned. My apologies, crowned the MVP. Mickey made so many incredible plays. Keep your eyes on what he's able to do against Kana here. After G2 find a great fight back into it, he's able to catch Kana out of position, completely off guard, and he locks him into secure another pick. And he was just in the face of D+ all throughout the game, finding opportunities, winning big fights for G2.
I mean, we've seen his development. He was, of course, also part of kind of the legendary 2019 G2 run. And I think for a long time, he's been wanting to prove that he still has that in him. And I think we saw it in the first game. Definitely so. Came with something to prove as the MVP. And we gotta say it was necessary because that game, despite a good early game, was incredibly nice.
That Baron throw. Oh, that Baron throw. Everybody going into the back of the pit as well.
Well, let's not. We moved past it, Kobe. We moved past
Yeah.
it. I did get to hear from Mickey immediately after the game, and I was like, what happened, bro? And he was like, the nerves, you know, everyone, first game on stage, you know, we were working some of those nerves out. A bit of mixed call, you know, from Hans Summer in the interview as well. But I think he said that D+ also felt a little nervous to him, so it feels like a lot of these teams still getting used to the stage, getting used to playing in front of this crowd, and I think today we're going to hopefully see some winner games, or we're going to see even more chaos.
Yeah, we'll see. Indeed. Let's take a look at the meta developments, especially in relation to what we saw out of the play-ins and the top presence from day one. Orianna is someone that we mentioned already that we think might kind of fall off now that we've seen the might of Azir and wanting to have those dashes. But how do you feel overall?
I mean, I think Orianna is definitely still going to stay in the top triumvirate of the mid lane champions up there. So the really big imposter to me is that the one Kalista game we saw was that trash Kalista into a Poppy already that got, you know, Summer Spell blown so early on that was not representative.
They get 7 bans one game yesterday. So.
The one game that we saw, I think, should be the lead.
Honestly, Kalista is the surprise to me. I didn't expect it to be so prevalent in this meta, and it just goes to show that perhaps bot lane is becoming the main focus for this tournament. This is, especially when speaking to G2, they talk about how they feel confident in their bot lane performance and how they want to rely on these Kalistas, these Draven, maybe even Lucians, and you've seen how much the presence has increased from play-ins to the Swiss stage. Sejuani also kind of disappearing pretty dramatically, but Azir, as you mentioned as well, both of you talking about the return of that presence and how pro players like that.
Yeah, the engaged supports we knew were going to be huge coming in, and we have so many really good Alistar players that I think we're in store for more.
We do. It's beautiful to see Alistar flank, right? So I'm definitely a fan. Now, yesterday, Team Liquid's APA made his international debut against none other than Faker, and he shared his feelings in the latest episode of Oppo Welcome to the Ring.
Hey guys, APA here. It's definitely just really crazy. I mean, a year ago, I told myself if anyone believes that I was playing against World, let alone against Faker, I just think they're crazy. You know, because a year ago that was in college. It's definitely just a really mind-boggling thing to think about how far I've come. That's just the biggest thing I think. The amount of hours and grind I put into this game actually can pay off. I was big Worlds with Team Liquid, and so I did. Never give up. I'm glad I did.
Never give up, indeed. That's an interesting story, right? When we have the guy who had a really hard time finding a spot in the first place, and obviously only came in later, and a lot of haters wrong, I would say.
It's a good point to bring up, though, because the reason for a lot of the tapering off in playoffs was literally Palafox. Team Liquid and Energy played twice, and in both best of series, Palafox got the better of APA. In the first one, it was not pretty. It was not even close. Palafox smashed him in the Tristana-Jace matchup, and then the reverse of the Jace-Tristana matchup, which completely scared Team Liquid away from Jace anymore. And then in the next matchup, APA was basically only playing the Go, and then tried to do the Azir, which people have tried and failed to succeed with. But the mid lane matchup has been the thing that has been the same advantage for Energy over Team Liquid in their victories. And that's something that I think has to change and probably will change with the change of the champion pool, with the Orianna and the Syndra that we were talking about, getting buffs coming to Worlds, the meta changing. There's definitely a big possibility here for APA to expand that champion pool, alleviate those problems from the mid lane.
I mean, it's the jungle that I have my eyes on mostly, because while I think that the mid lane, I agree with you, it has been so impactful. When
Yoshik yesterday?
Yoshik is perfect, man. Everyone has seen it. Everyone is saying that he's back in Worlds.
That's my world champion.
Exactly. We saw the Yoshik buff last year, and we're getting to see it again. It was kind of like he saw Faker, and he was like, I'm in the World Finals again. You know, he set his sights on him, and he was able to shut him down with so many incredible plays. It's a shame that TL couldn't close it out, but wow, what a performance from Yoshik.
Yeah, and look at all these plays he's pulling off with that giant world champion ring on his finger. Absolutely fast. This one was my favorite. Going for Faker and then finally chasing him and getting him under tower, having stopwatch as well to live afterwards. Huge performance from him. And also, he's such an entertainer. The comedic interviews that we've already gotten so far have really added a lot of flavor to these teams.
Yeah, so the NA Classic is really entertaining, fun, but he's also really good. Hey, I've got maybe a potential statement for you, but I don't think so. For me, TL was the best performing NA team yesterday. C9 had a clinical performance over Mad, but we need to level of opponent. And the way Team Liquid fought against T1 was very impressive.
I mean, it's fair to say, I mean, it was very clinical for C9, but TL, I think, usurped expectations and showed us great stuff. Unfortunately, it was the final fight where they fell short of Kobe, and we both had a lot of opinions on it, but it wasn't exactly what went wrong. Yeah.
All right, let's bring it up. final team fight. I know this might be painful for NA fans to watch, but let's get right into it. If we look at the very beginning, I want to point out some of the positions here. Really early here. They try and go for a scout peek as well, but the round trying to play onto the back line of T1, and it's just they're so close to actually possibly getting an upset win that they do rush through things. The second thing you want to look at is the back line here for T1. Already you can highlight arrow hit onto APA. He's not going to be able to add any damage to disengage. And then Jan here on the Aphelios. He has purple and red guns.
Man, they're not optimal.
They are definitely trash guns for a team fight. And so then he tries to walk up and get really close. And he does not see Faker's shockwave right there in the middle. The ball, I guess it kind of gets lost in the animation of the Renata ultimate. He doesn't see it, he doesn't flash, no summer spells, and the game is just over.
Yes, it was really unlucky, but you know, I would say they can look back on a great
Unlucky?
Yeah.
I'm from NA, and I don't even, you don't even have to give me that. It was not unlucky.
All right, we gotta move on. Hope it's better today. It's a great day ahead of us. We've got LCK and LPL Summer Finals rematch, but first we kick off the day with NRG versus time for the Worlds 2023.
오늘 스위스 스테이지를 하고 느낀 점은 즐거움 가는 거죠. 혼란스러운 월드에서 살아가기 위해서는 제가 최고의 선수라는 믿음이 있어요.
T1 are gonna take the first game of Swiss.
중요한 건 이제 5명이서 이제 좋은 합을 맞추고
딴 생각을 하면 게임 흐름을 놓치는 순간 역전당.
Ultimately, the team skill will matter the most in the end.
United as a team, all individual players driving here. NA seems like we're the most motivated team.
今天 LPL 都打得很不错吧，一起努力加油吧。想终结我们 APG 的队伍有很多吧，然后
JDG have continued their curse on BLG.
我们的话就是用比赛实力来征服他们就可以了。
我已经准备好迎接任何人的挑战。
我做好准备，让大家在这次世界赛更清楚地看到我的实力。
Outgo, the new stage, the perfect pair. The pressure is a double-edged sword. I don't really like it, but I think it makes the play much better. There's always two sides of it. Sometimes you can lose against anyone, but you can beat anyone.
I think all the teams in this stage have to wear on their pockets.
이기면 천국인 것 같고, 지면 지옥인 것 같고.
Turret plating will soon fall. I'm my own back. An ally has been slain.
Hello and welcome back to the LCS. We got NRG versus TL. I'm Azale and I'm here with... You're not giving them flowers?
No way, man. This is Worlds, actually real players, real tournament, not the LCS.
Oh, that's how we know we're in the lower bracket.
Yeah.
The 0-1.
I don't know the script, you got better, Zale, but that's pretty rough. Of course, I'm hysteric. Zale alongside with me. You are tall. That's the first thing noticing in your career like man. And I've seen you in so many LCS runs. And all the time, stand above everyone else.
I don't know what it is, but I guess we look short on camera because I swear every time I meet someone, they're like, wow, you are a taller person.
It's a lie. Sometimes I stand on a box. It's a lie. Not given this time around, but of course, we've given you the LCS intro because it is a regional match. But let's be real, it's a regional day as well. We all saw the draw show last night. We all know that people out there are like, we're getting so many big matchups throughout the day. One of the big JD you later. We've also got, you know, some matches as well for Genji T1. But here we stand over NRG and TL, who both started 0-1 in day one.
Absolutely, and these two teams, you know, are so incredibly familiar with each other. You know, they just played each other in 2 best-of-5 in the LCS playoffs. NRG was able to take both, but if you were to look just at day one, I think everyone would say TL looked a lot better. TL was very close to actually taking down T1. But NRG, I feel like they maybe had a little bit of a mental block against their opponents. You know, if you actually heard some of the interviews from Palafox, he said Xiaohu was by far the best mid laner that he played against in scrims. Then some of their coaches were even posting world player rankings based on scrims. They had all the Weibo guys up at the very top of the table, so they were clearly very worried about playing those players but already in big demand. This feels like a flashback to playoffs. The first round of playoffs where they played each other, it was all Jace versus Tristana mirror matchups, and APA got absolutely ran by Palafox. So in that second best of 5, it became very much about actually banning a specific mix that one player is stronger on. And for Palafox, he was never getting his Jace that was banned out every single game. His career was mostly getting banned out as well. And APA has been getting a lot of attention from his Ziggs, from his Nico, and we know how good Pyoshik looked yesterday on League.
I mean, we talked a lot about mid laner, at least off about how Palafox was a big deal against APA. We can continue that discussion, but for now, love the Poppy band to come through. I'm sure with TL, maybe doing homework from NRG against Bravo yesterday. That first pick the blue side, it does mean the Orianna ends up like already.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to go that Orianna. And APA, like they just playing the same matchup you actually played yesterday. They played against Syndra, was very comfortable in lane against it. Was pretty active on the map as well, multiple times keeping them towards outside to actually cover some of these dives. And it's so interesting, you know, watching TL, and I think APA deserves a lot of credit for what they do. Because it's really because there's so much talk about how this team largely communicates in Korean. I remember after one of their series, we were actually asking, so APA, why did you pick this year? You know, what was it that you actually happening that made you want to play this in draft? And he said, they didn't even tell me. They just were talking in Korean, and then my champion got locked in. And he's like, oh, I guess this is what I'm playing. So he sometimes is that man, you know, off on his own because of the communication barrier.
Yep.
But he coordinates very well with the team, and the two have become, you know, quite the dynamic duo. So I think he definitely is deserving of credit for how adaptable he's been in what sounds like a pretty difficult situation.
To be fair, I mean, when you have Pyoshik, when you have Summit, when you have Core JJ on your team, I completely understand that. So again, running with the flow of it here, as we're also running through champs like quite big. Look at the power picks. On the side of NRG, we have the Orianna, we have the Jax, we have the Sejuani. Powerful solo lanes in the making here for NRG to build up.
APA hovering a couple of Palafox's champions, and while I don't think we got to see it yesterday for APA, this guy is an all-chat demon. He is trash-talking an all-chat in the LCS every single game. So it will be funny to see if he's going to be right back to his antics. You know, jungler's coming in, he's your jungler, he's all-chatting all game long, he's trash-talking, he's emoting. He really is a confident guy, a confident player. And I think that both of these teams should absolutely be in their comfort zone because they're so familiar. You know, when you look across the stage, whether you want to admit it or not, it just feels different when you look over and you see a Knight or you see a Faker versus the players that you play against week in, week out. So I'm expecting NRG especially to look more comfortable than they do.
We got no look at NRG yesterday. What's the NRG we saw in the regular season? Maybe both LCS teams full fruition as TL was only the early game yesterday anyway. Just quick touch up. Kite is going to be taken away, something that doesn't really make it take a chance back. But this time away, it's going to be taken with the clear priority sunk into the field.
Yeah, absolutely. So Yon going to be going back to the list though. We saw that Yon is really one of our versatile ADs in the LCS. He's one of the guys that will bring out things like Draven, like Kalista. He also plays scaling stuff, so he is really a flexible player. Massively from spring to summer. Core as well, for as much as this guy is someone with an immaculate reputation, had not really been playing nearly as well these last couple of years in the LCS. And I think he's coming off of what is his best split in years in the LCS. So these guys, really are looking to show their stuff on the international level. They had a really rough start to the game yesterday against T1. Had to blow his flash almost instantly, and he was very far down in that game. So I don't think Yon really felt like he got to get going. And I'm sure that against FBI, he wants to prove himself.
Especially when both bot laners got hammered yesterday as well on that note. FBI and weren't able to play the game. Alistar, as we are still focusing on that bottom side, it was Fireban from Dion rounded out the Renata, and well taken by NRG. Wondering what's that all coming through, because the Zelda talking about was that Alistar has risen up. It has just been one of the main engages. Rakan also up and available. Anything you want to add in for Spice?
Yeah, I mean, I think Rakan is generally really highly contested in the LCS, especially if you're playing against Ignar and the team needs engaged, because Ignar is one of those guys that really favors the pick. Core, I tend to think, yes, he can play Enchanters really well. I mean, the man won a world championship playing Enchanters, but for TL, they just look different when he's playing Engage. He being that go button for the team, I think is so incredibly pivotal. So, I am expecting them to go towards those engaged type picks, but at the same time, with them looking for fifth pick counter pick here, maybe they have a little bit of a different read. Maybe they're going to pick more heavily for lane. We could see something like a ranged champion. That's why we're getting that Renata bin out. He picked in, and Senna's going to get locked. So do we actually have a farming TK or something along those lines? I think there's a lot of pairings that you can do with it. Senna TK, by far the most popular. Senna, I think, is actually really strong right now, so this is cool.
It really is. Again, Senna Tom, Senna Neela's been hyped up pre-tournament. In R5 still counter pick. 22 for the pick.
But the Blitzcrank would be more of that lane counter. I think the Rel is a lot easier to play in the 5v5s. Has that AoE CC. That is something that you really do need when you're playing against Blitzcrank. If you just have single target pick, Tom Kench is so powerful against that. When Syndra is looking to 100-0 someone, when Viego is looking to dive in and 100-0 someone, and Tom Kench can just say no. But I'm really curious to see what Yon and Core can get done in that bot lane, because without a ranged support, I do think it's difficult to actually use that TK. And if FBI is on point with his Qs, both hitting Ignar with the heal as well as poking out Yon and Core, you're actually a pretty difficult lane to push out. And if this lane can be stable, the scaling over on the energy side, I think, is incredible. They can play through sides with Dokla. You have the Senna ultimate to help for that cross map as well. You have safety for the Senna and the Orianna. You could so they're definitely looking for maybe 1-4 or even 5v5 and heavy scaling. There's way more pressure, I feel, on TL to get ahead of the pace of the game, because when you're looking at Viego, you need to be getting those kills. You need to be getting that resets. Similar can be said here for Yon and the Kalista, and even APA playing the Syndra.
But I think for TL, at least in his recognition of what we talked a lot about yesterday, right? Pyoshik was the early game. It was the lead thing. Really threatened T1. A lot of them getting their hopes up. I was this would look like a win. It was one mistake. It was one fight mid that they went too far, unfortunately. And it was devastating, but at least we saw what T1 could do. If we're talking about priority on this jungler, if we're talking about priority here as Zale, with what the early game can offer, I have faith, considering we didn't see much from NRG yesterday. Way more to give them the chance to play. That early game, and a huge goal highlighted. It's not to be part of an NA rivalry. We've seen them in the LCS playoffs. Tell you one thing.
Welcome.
I do feel like flowers right now, except I don't have the great chin or the Skarner mechanics to go with it.
Well, actually, you probably do have the Skarner mechanics. That's the whole point of playing Skarner, is it has no mechanics.
Really?
There's flowers will tell you.
Will that offend him? I mean, already
He's like, I'm friendly. But no, it is great to be here with you, man. Definitely a big LPL fan, big fan of your casting. And happy to be here with you to kick off stage 2 of the Swiss stage. This should be a fun one.
Should be, considering that NRG has healed number. Yeah, coming through, 3-2 in the lower bracket final, 3-1 in round 1 of playoffs as well.
Yes, sir.
And I know you backstage were really high on Palafox versus APA, where that felt like a deciding fact to push NRG into the unexpected final position.
It absolutely was, but like Kobe was talking about on the desk, and everyone on the desk was talking about, it is a different meta now, right? So, is this meta going to be one in which Palafox can kind of enforce his will on APA as much? That's what we have to really find out here. as expected, it is the fasting Senna. It is going to be the farming TK.
Yep.
No big surprise there, but obviously confirmed by the Spectral Sickle. And it's going to be a really interesting one. I think so much additional pressure is felt by the teams in the 0-1 matches, knowing that D+ or KT is going to be in the 0-2 match. And you do not want to go down there, because if you draw that team, it's probably see you later, have a nice flight home.
That's right. Even though, you go to bed, it's so rough. Matchup here between CL and NRG. As that bottom lane, as though you're walking us through a little bit in the drive, you said it feels hard to push in this time. It feels hard to deal with this 2v2 from what T-Hell have offered. But here in the level 1 already, at least there are some good trades, as you can speak about that in the top side as well. Those two Summit bouncing each other for a little bit. Summit step back.
Yeah, good job there by Doka. Nice early trade. Gets the fast on level 2. Summit a little bit disconnected. Taking a lot of damage. But at the same time, you're talking about the less in a get the push. I think that looks like get the push. AP is in trouble here potentially.
Galloway's gonna get away. Palafox has the summoners available. He flushes for autos. And first blood to Palafox to kick a chat in the mid lane returns.
Oh, Palafaker showing up here to World. Solo kill on Oriana at level 3 is not what you want to see.
They've sorted that out with PL. Gets falling in the top lane too. The first take place so far is an NRG through the early game. I'm getting the vibes that I had through watching LCS playoffs. As they are, you know, the powerhouse team, the individual presence as well. And starting off with a solo kill on Oriana in this matchup, 3-6 is amazing.
Absolutely, and it kind of feels like right back to the LCS playoffs, where such a difference maker for the team was Palafox. Hovering around mid lane, wanting to punish Palafox, who has a wave in a really awkward spot. This wave is pushing away from him. That's why he's hugging the top side where it is warded. He doesn't have a ward over by his Raptor, so of course steps out of that brush. He's going to be spotted, but Pioshek, he knows he could be down there, and that's why he's so heavily playing towards top side and will just retreat out towards contracts.
Really smooth stuff from Palafox. Scuttle taken before Pioshek can do anything about it as well, but they're waiting. He beats him. Get that up.
Either that or he's gone for a quick bathroom break. Because he's been in there for a while.
And he's still there. You can see on the mini-map while Contracts is going straight to the top side. Someone has to play well for this match here. Frost is out. And even though someone gets out of there, Ghost in. The big man in charge gets one of his
Lots of Summit, nicely done. Him and Contracts working well together. Or is still there.
All right, now he's moving.
Man, that is, he is clearly really feeling the pressure to get something done around mid lane. But it also speaks to the fact that he doesn't feel he can pressure bot lane at all. Like, clearly he feels he doesn't get anything done. They're not going to be able to do it. So me sitting bot lane doesn't do anything. Some people will do this. If you don't think you can do it, you're trying to wait to punish this flash of Oriana. That's really what he was going for there. And unfortunately got nothing done. And now Pioshek can be spotted out by a great lane where he's done.
Spots him out. I mean, the rest of the map is so chaotic right now as well, so you can understand further that why 4J continues to move. He's going to get tagged out. That was the fight right now, but you can see Contracts is nowhere nearby, so go for it. He can find out in this place. And that is why someone is going to we'll understand now that there was a word in that rush that the minion aggro did follow. APA was trying so heavily to push in the wave. The wave was pushing away from him, but Palafox is basically just harassing APA every time he steps forward to actually push in that wave. He got and this is just a nice move up the top. And 20 plus melee pairing, we know all about them. Great flash for the second part of the W there from Contract. That means the passive is stacked and we're back to on. And he's down here. I mean, 3 versus 2 for JJ and Yon. They're just fine. They walk it out, half HP. The trade is going to be the close coming through from this Ballista. While NRG have a wave to push in. But again, Contracts, what an early game presence. We didn't get to see any of it yesterday against Wave, but we all know why. But it is really nice to see, again, as you were talking about, that domestic rivalry, the best of these teams. Because they are playing against rivals. They are still playing around here on the by the set here. They're from the almost out plans in careful. We see Malfox now. That's 3 as well. And we see in these matchups so many, I was
just going to call it out. The harass shockwave, just get that jump, get that push. APA is going to have his TP back relatively soon, but Alphax just looking to continually dominate.
Already there. Kyosik is still trying to get out on the map. He's now down bottom side, not spotted out, but hard again. When FBI and Igna are running to the table. And if we're talking about APA, just a quick touch on him, with that teleport coming so soon, he's still just trying to time it so that Palafox can't get that free play and lose out even more.
And the matchup is a lot more even than otherwise would have been because of all the help that APA was getting. The way that was away from Palafox, so he couldn't actually. That's why he's down to 12 CS here. So yes, he did get that kill, but there is a CS advantage for APA, so he's not as far behind as he otherwise would be. You have the lost chapter for APA, and it just boosted a Negatron for Palafox. So it's actually the better buy right now for APA. So until Palafox can reset one more time, we'll see.
Left there, for a second. Place down. Kyosik is going to help out with this one as well. So Diego needs a kill to start snowballing this game, and with level 6, let's Heartbreak straight away. Or at least wait for Dokla to get out of there. He looks for the 1v2. Jungler intervention coming in as contract. Wants to make it even footing. But Summit with no flip back and then the Popo strike just back off.
Hopefully there by Dokla, really calm stuff from him. Didn't panic, played it out slow, knew he had to help them to get more contracts. And now they get the HP advantage. Summit has no ulti, so they're just going to start up the Herald here. You can see the push there is in mid for Palafox as well. APA is basically 50 feet up here. They want to try to make something happen with Kyosik.
Again, make it a little bit fun. TL playing with a 3v2 for now, but Palafox, that shockwave available, the threat, the center ult from downtown from FBI, helps them get the Herald. Team Liquid looking for something on the exit path. However, with Palafox with no mana, maybe they feel confident to do so with the jump in from Big Dose again. Kyosik is out, but for the time being, look for the reset with the help of his team. TL still in deep no man's land, and Igna comes from behind. Someone has to flash away. FBI is joined in as well. NRG are pouncing on them, and TL bit off way too much as APA. He might have the flash, but the burn it soon feels like the reality. Tongue lash out over the wall, gobbled up. What did he taste like? A free kill.
Oh my god, it tastes good, and it tasted maybe like a win for NRG as they are crushing through the early game. We are 9 minutes in, it's 4-0, already a 2,000 gold lead here. They're going to be able to push in mid as well. They haven't really been able to get any sort of an advantage with this Ballista. And FBI with that cross Sentinel helps them out around the Herald. We can see it one more time. They know they had the early move from Palafox. He is low on mana, but the Sentinel dissuades any sort of an engage from TL. Yes, Spore got here first, but it's NRG on the retreat. It's FBI arriving way before Yawn. And there's no way for TL to stay committed to the fight. Kyosik has to run. Summit has to run. That means Spore was always going to be left without. We've seen NRG. Burn that flash after he was it just keeps falling here in this opening game of Swiss Day 2. Yeah, and FBI, a nice little move up towards mid there. Catches him with the root, and that forces the flash, and now Contracts could threaten the dive. Sure, APA smartly scouts it out, but this means you gotta back up, because without flash, this could be Contracts flashing in with Q flash, guaranteed ult, guaranteed shockwave follow-up, you would be dead. And Dokla winning out pretty heavily in this top side has been really doing a good job in the 1v1, and that is Summit's bread and butter. That is what this guy is known for, is a monster laning phase. He's the top laner in the LCS, has really showcased his prowess in lane. You know, even in multiple leagues across the world, it's always been outside of lane that he's had his struggles.
Gone in trouble. Again, dinner time, not yet, as he narrowly avoids. Oh! Survives, but again, chips keep falling as the action doesn't stop. NRG keeping the pace going. With a flick back, APA is one hit wonder away. Contracts with his first kill of the game. And NRG, TL just can't keep up.
They really can't. They're really that gives Contracts freedom to get more aggressive. Don't put the top side. Right up there. where Core basically seems to think there's no point in laning.
Your team has
And he's been
destroyed
running
the
outside of the lane all game long and trying to get something done. TL want their first win of the game here, but the teleport just sways the play. The only thing that's going to keep it going, or at least keep it safe for TLs with no jungler here, but Palafox trying to change the pace as Shockwave not up and available. Maybe would have been the different change. TL breaks the hills again with a 2.5k gold lead. That's not changing anytime soon.
Yeah, absolutely. It's looking really good here for Energy. You know, only kind of bomb there for first dragon. They can continually start the dragon. You know, the second dragon coming up in 15 minutes. With that, you definitely want to be stacking those objectives. But it's also really tough because when you're playing Diego, when you're playing Syndra, these two champions are supposed to work in conjunction to get that one shot, get that first kill, which gets the reset for Viego. If you can't get that first reset because you're too far behind, you lose a tremendous amount of value. So I think TL are already kind of in this position where they have to find some different angles.
Again, Jon, who's left by himself in the bottom lane, continues to get bullied out. Ignite and FBI has had his number all game long. And just a quick touchback on what you're talking about with not just TL. We mentioned the scaling of NRG starting. And what they need to do is they come up with a 5-man unit. NRG has had to when TL
yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have playmaking here, obviously, with Xante. Hey, if you can pull this Orianna and Super Fed out of the fight, if you can pull someone away and split them up, maybe make something work there. Might be great engagement for as well. But I do think it's going to be very difficult for Orianna. Playing this relatively low-range marksman, you're going to have to Jax jumping in your face. You're going to have to deal with a Senna who's outranging you heavily. You're going to have to deal with potential shockwaves and contracts hit again.
Kill number 4, APA, yip, back to the base.
Not again, APA. Did so well in this matchup. Against Baker, but it's
even better is this is the jumping on one saving FBI. No wonder is that it looks like Igna has used the release. TL leads to get the run lane.
I think we're feeling the pressure. They know they need to make something happen. They're going to TP.
The ulti flash is still alive, but finally, there's a reset over to the TL. Jungler as Igna is too far away to be caught out, but it opens up that bottom side and finally gives TL some meat.
Yeah, they're going to be able to get something from that. That is big for TL. They needed to get something going, find a lane to play around, so they heavily commit down towards that bot side. You know, they bring down the TP. They try to make something happen. It was a great sidestep on the stun there from FBI, but they'd already used the Tom Kench ulti on the earlier play, and here it is around mid once again. Contracts just great job over the wall. It's a flashless Syndra, nails the ulti, sets up the shockwave for Palafox, and then down to bot side. This is after Tom Kench already had to use his ulti in that initial play. Yep. So great sidestep there from FBI. I think his flash, though, unfortunately, was late on the R coming through from Kyoshik, so he did take that damage. I'm not sure, honestly, if it would have made the difference, but it was a little bit slow there. You know, to go for the R flash on Senna to try to stay alive on the field, wasn't quite able to do it. But again, it's no winning on top side. It's Palafox winning heavily through mid. It's Contracts getting more done in the jungle. It's really pressure on Jan now. He did not have a great game yesterday. To be big.
Flash away from A. Energy goes to the back of TL. They're not going to come in. Over the flash out with the hill. Reset. Shelly says, hang on a minute. I've got something less than hope. 0.8k and the oven's now turned off, and Shelly's gone back out to adventure with the eye. Taken for the man and jump from NRG. He's also separated with the eye. Now close to Forge. With a shockwave to the death. NRG making a great hit as they get the first blood.
One for one. They can push up mid. That mid lane turret is almost dead. And they're still going to have that Herald in pocket here with Ignar to try to get even more done. Dokla up towards this top side. Ignar is ghosting him. Ghosting is moving in, so they're going to see if they can try to get something done. Dokla has no flash. And also, he does have a ward, so he will have but we'll see if he can get anything done.
Level 11 here on the man with Divine Thunder. Look at the item comparison.
Getting some big up. Get that first